Oh, hi.
As soon as I hit record, I bumped this table with my knee so hard the whole thing shook.
It's fitting because us getting up here, you like tripped over there. I almost ate shit over here.
Yeah.
Wh-
God didn't
You
want
know
this episode.
what?
We've been trying to record this episode all week.
We really have been.
Yeah.
We have been working.
It's been a pathetic effort.
Well, no, we've been trying hard. It's just things have gotten in the way, and then at the last moment, I almost died by tripping.
Yeah.
You're kicking shit.
I'm going to add another note, too. Every time we have one of these movie clubs, I always have my laptop. I like to have IMDb open in case we're wondering who who was in the movie,
who they
whatever.
Work with, yeah.
Now IMDb got rid of. They used to have user message boards, and people were like, this is a cesspool," so we got rid of them. Personally, I liked them because even though there were a lot of idiots on them, there were people bringing up like, "Hey, does anyone think this movie was actually about this?" "Oh yeah, that's a good." I don't know. Even when they were stupid, no, dumbass. Eyes Wide Shut isn't all a dream. It really happens because this and this. Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's better than no discussion at all.
Sure.
That's my opinion. But one user thing that has survived every time I look up, like right now I'm looking at Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
On the right side has user lists. Users can make lists of movies
that they recommend.
and it will bring them up. And it's always like overrated. And it's like Forrest Gump. Stupid shit. Indiana Jones. I mean, it's always somewhat like misspelled, like fucking sick cinema, and it's Fight Club, or whatever. And it's like their site is so neat and professional, and then you got those user lists on the side that pop up that are like fucking dumb movies. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking of dumb movies, what did we watch this week? We watched. Have you ever seen the Maltese Falcon before?
no, I had never
neither.
seen a Humphrey Bogart movie. Heard about it my whole life.
I feel like I saw Casablanca in high school.
Yeah, I never did.
But I can't tell you much about it. But
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, never did.
Yeah. So I had never really seen a Humphrey Bogart movie. This apparently is like his breakout
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. And the Maltese Falcon is like the cream of the crop movie prop. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's the thing. Like, if you got a movie museum, if you got whatever, that's like the famous. It's funny because I can think of 1,000 bigger movies in my life in my world that I've seen. I could think of 1,000 bigger movies to hit whatever. But if someone said like, what's the most iconic movie prop? The Maltese Falcon would be up there. That's just something that has been in movie culture for a long time. And I
Yeah.
think they were even saying that they made like 8 of them or something like that. 3 still exist.
Oh.
And they are conservatively valued at minimum $1 million.
Wait. You keep talking. Hold on
Yeah.
1 second. You just you stall.
Okay.
$1 million.
Yeah. So yeah, 1 million each, and that's a conservative, like minimum. You're gonna get $1 million if you have that.
There's a fourth. There is a
What
fourth.
the fuck?
I have it. And I
What
didn't
the
know they were worth
fuck?
that much. I just kind of had it in the back. I didn't realize, but
Oh
yeah.
my god.
I'm gonna call dibs on this one. Thank you.
Okay. Well, oh shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put it.
Patrons, what should we do with the? I guess we have one of the 8 Maltese Falcons. Well, now there's 4 surviving now. What do we do with the Maltese Falcon? What's the best way? eBay? Maybe. Shit, man. I mean, I just feel like we have a responsibility with
I'm
this.
just gonna probably put it back on the props. It doesn't. It's falling over.
I mean, that was next to the Cell Saga helmets and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
what to do with that.
Let's put it right there, so it's kind of looking.
Shit, dude. Okay. Well, man, this is yeah.
Exciting.
If we sell that and we get the $1 million, I mean, I'm just trying to think what we could do. We could finally do the Star Wars Hotel. I mean, that's closing, so we might want to get in on that.
No interest.
I can think of nothing else.
Okay. Well, that's all you want.
Okay. Well, people at home, if we get it, what should we spend it on?
Thank you.
Leave a comment on our Patreon or whatever, because we got to like solve this, and this just threw me a monkey wrench.
I honestly, I had never seen this movie. I've
Yeah.
seen this prop in our thing
Yeah.
for forever.
Yeah.
Did not realize it was the Maltese Falcon.
Oh,
I
no
didn't
shit.
Realize. I didn't
You
realize.
really didn't. I had no. This is heavy as hell too.
It's
Why do we
real.
have this?
Oh, it's real.
Wow.
No, I have no idea why we have that. I don't know where that came from.
But
I always thought Jared brought it in, but I don't know if that's true or not.
that really has been in here a long time.
Yeah, it's always just sitting there, and it's like
That's
it's a bird
so funny.
statue, and then all of a sudden I'm watching, I'm like, oh, the fucking thing we have in our studio.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I want to say at one point, maybe I'm wrong. I think Debbie Reynolds had one of them.
Oh.
Debbie Reynolds, she was Carrie Fisher's mom.
Right.
Was fighting for years to get the Academy to build a museum. She's like, yo, I have a huge collection and I'm like willing to work with you. Like
Right.
Debbie Reynolds had like the biggest movie memorabilia collection like of anyone. And she had a Maltese Falcon. She's like, yo, you can display this. And they never budged on it. And then I think before she died, she just like auctioned it all off. And I think she did. And now the Academy has built a museum.
Oh, they're
and
fucking stupid.
I think like none of her shit is in it. Like I think it was like people were like, yeah, you fucking blew that one.
God.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
a lot of the stuff in the Academy Museum, it's a really cool museum. But a lot of stuff is replicas. Like if you check the plaques, there's a lot. There are originals, but there's a lot you check. Like, oh, check it out, the head of the Terminator, and it's like we made a replica, and it's like
that to me is
you
like,
could have had the real thing.
that could be at Universal Studios
Yeah.
or like just like the
Yeah.
gift shop. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but it really is. But they have some really cool stuff too. So I'm not trying to diss it. They got some original shit. Anyway, but the movie, The Maltese Falcon. Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. I'd never seen anything like this.
I know that we made the Cast That Dreams Are Made Of video.
Yes.
I know Derek said this is the Maltese Falcon.
Mhm.
He's like, it's like he's like I watched the movie a lot at that point, so I wanted to make something like that. So we did that. So I kind of knew. I knew it's a noir, or maybe even like the first film noir, And I also know that it's like, when I say something like this, I don't mean this one as an insult, but this seems to make a boomer movie, and again, that seems like an insult, but like, I just know everyone I know who like really loves this movie tends to be a boomer. Also, I know like younger people who like it too, but like, for example, I was just there's a tangent here, Rocco. I swear I was going to go somewhere.
That's right.
But Emma just had prom, and so you know how people at prom they get like meet up with their friends and they do like the big prom picture of all the groups, like all the couples together, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was at one of Emma's friends' parents' house who I'd never met before, but I don't think she's ever been over there before. So we're over there in the backyard and like it's all nice taking pictures, and then like I ask to use the restroom and I go into the bathroom and there is a gigantic Maltese Falcon poster just in the bathroom with like this. It was like a whole Maltese Falcon themed bathroom, and I was like, oh weird, I'm doing the movie club on this like right now.
Yeah.
But like the dad was definitely older, and like, you could tell like loved this fucking movie, and it was just like, oh, this is like I feel like this movie, the older you get, maybe the more you appreciate it, or I'm not quite sure.
But I will say, I'm going to say, maybe this is going to sound boomerish too. Maybe this might be the boomer episode. But I also think people should watch movies like this too, to like, movies are such a part of our fucking culture and it's weaved into the fabric of our fucking lives, that I do think it's valuable to look at the origins of things, the beginnings of certain things. This is definitely something where you could see as like, it's kind of like, I feel like a blueprint that a lot of detective movies maybe kind of look to,
Sure, or even like Batman the Animated Series, like other things like that.
There's noir vibes coming from and that probably owes a lot to this. And so I think like I have my things that I liked and didn't like about it. It's not my favorite old movie that I've seen, but I kind of feel like I'm glad I saw it. And I feel like it's kind of good. I don't think like kids should just watch fucking Pixar movies. It's like, when they get a little older, check out stuff like this just for the history of it. I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. I ain't telling any kid how to live or anything, but I'm just saying.
I do feel like this movie takes place in 1941 in San Francisco, and it is always interesting to me. I follow this account on Instagram, like History of San Diego, and it's like, here's Pacific Beach, 1921. Yeah. Or here's whatever in 1960. Just because I like to see that stuff. Yeah. So with this, like, you're seeing San Francisco in the 40s. Yeah. Which is a whole different vibe than San Francisco now, and it's super interesting to see. And I do like that, and I wish you saw more of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like at the beginning they show you San Francisco, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh right, I'm ready to see this movie, and then it's like the rest of it's just kind of like almost like a play.
Yeah.
There are parts of it that, you do go out and there's like a chase scene, but like for the most part, the city isn't really represented. I
Yeah.
didn't think, it's just establishing shots, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I honestly, yeah, I didn't. I'm glad I saw it. I think maybe it was hyped in my, but so was Citizen Kane. Honestly, when I saw
Yeah,
Citizen
Kane lived up.
it-
I thought I was gonna be like, yeah, all right, let's
Yeah,
watch this, and
me
it
too.
lived up to
I
classic status.
I begrudgingly picked Citizen Kane just because I felt like we had to watch it. I'm
Yeah.
like, why are we doing a movie podcast? You've never seen this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
This I watched, and I was kind of. This to me is like, oh, you're gonna have to see this like 2 to 3 times, I think, because it goes so fast and it's so many names, and you're just trying to like piece it all together, and it's
Yeah.
already a mystery to begin with. So like, I'm just trying to be like, what is actually happening? Like, who is doing what? Like, the lady keeps giving her
Yeah.
different names, and it's like, no, I'm just getting confused.
Yeah, it kind of isn't elegant. I definitely see, like I said, the genesis of a lot of noir and a lot of detective kind of shit coming from this. I see the inspiration and I recognize it as a valuable work. But watching it now for the first time, I'm kind of like, all right, you clean this up a little bit, maybe.
I will say that the Maltese Falcon, this is not the first time they made this movie. They made it, I think, 2 other times, and it was a flop both times.
Okay,
Within
yeah.
a matter of 10 years.
Yeah, there was a 1931 version.
And
right?
there was
Yeah.
one before that, I think that was a comedy,
Oh.
and it didn't work.
Okay.
And so this was a first-time director, John Hudson,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's interesting because the fact that he even made this movie, it's like it's
Yeah.
already flopped 2 times, and now you're trying to get your first movie to be this. But I guess
Yeah.
that book was so loved, he's like, I can do this
Yeah,
better.
we can crack this.
We can do this, and so he did it.
Also, you have to factor in too. Movies were distributed so different back then, so it's like they would show this like one week, like
Yeah.
look, the Maltese Falcon, and then it's like, all right, next week a new movie is coming in,
Right.
and that's it. It's like, or there'd be like one day everyone sees something and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not like in a million theaters for 3 months like things are now. So maybe they showed it in 1931 and it was like, yeah, no one cared. Okay, maybe it made a lot more sense to reboot it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's. I know that the price of the average theater ticket back then was 25 cents, and I know when this movie came out, a lot of the critics said A Star Is Born about this movie, but they weren't talking about Bogart. They're talking about John Hudson and his directing. So
okay.
he was getting a lot of the credit, and I do think the directing in this movie is pretty cool.
John is it Huston? I thought it was Hudson.
Hudson,
But it's Huston, apparently.
Huston. Huston,
Yeah.
Huston, yeah. Well, anyways,
Anyway.
he also did a screenplay. But yeah, so,
Okay.
but I did think the directing was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, like there are things. This came out the same year as Citizen Kane, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it seems to me that like this year Hollywood really changed and
Yeah.
became something that what it is today. I mean, it started the trend of this.
Yeah.
Of like really, in-depth storytelling. But like the more I'm reading all this like trivia and stuff about it, and they're like, oh yeah, like the twist at the end. I'm like, what was the twist at the end? And I'm like, what, that the girl killed the partner? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, that was a twist? Or like I guess like audiences were really like upset in the movie thinking that Humphrey Bogart was gonna like take the money and like
Yeah. You didn't know what he was morally gonna do at the end. Yeah.
But I didn't really care. I wasn't like, oh my fucking god,
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I guess he's gonna take the money.
Yeah. But I guess it's kind of a surprise he throws her under the like
Yeah.
He's like the twist is the right thing, kind of.
I guess, yeah.
I guess
But like,
for
it's
him.
so funny. Like, I don't really believe anything he says though. Where it's like, all right, we love each other, and maybe together. It's like, do you don't even.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of sped through a little bit to where
Like every single time that they are together, I think is on screen.
Yeah.
I think. Like, do they hang out when we don't see?
I don't think so. Not that
Yeah,
I know.
not that I remember. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But he kind of just like, I mean, the first time, like he kind of just like kisses her out of nowhere at that one part too, where it's just kind of like, whoa, oh, okay.
Yeah, but that.
Like, well, we're talking da 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 da. You know, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's happening.
There are also a couple things that I didn't pick up on, and maybe it's because I wasn't. I don't know. What's the guy's name? The guy who talks like this. You know, whatever the.
Yeah.
Peter Lorre as
that
Joel
actor,
Cario.
Which, by the way, they parodied that guy in every Looney Tunes cartoon back in the day. It was always that guy.
Yes, and
right?
when I saw him, like, oh, he's that.
Yes.
He's that.
Yep.
Oh.
He was Looney Tunes fodder for years.
It was one of those like light bulb things. Like, oh, okay, I finally get this thing now.
Yeah,
After 38 years, I get it. I think is he gay? I think he's gay in this movie. And like, I believe it's him. I'm sorry if I've got this. But I think that and they like allude to it, and like but like, I didn't pick up on it until I read the trivia, and I was like, oh, he was gay. Okay, I didn't know. Like, but I guess that was like a big thing to reveal in the movie, you know, back then. And so like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Citizen Kane when I watched it held up to the times.
Yeah, especially the filmmaking language of it and stuff. Whereas that's not here. You're not making something like this now. Or you know what I mean? Like, you could see the inspiration for things here, but you wouldn't edit it or shoot it in this manner necessarily. Whereas Citizen Kane has tricks that they're still doing now. You know, it really speaks in the language of cinema we have now. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. The difference.
Watching it, I just didn't really get why it's heralded as such. I mean, I know like the noir thing and whatever, but I just couldn't be like, this is the movie that everyone's been talking about my whole life.
Yeah. Again, I'm looking into it from context. It's famous because, I mean, like now you've just heard of it because it's famous for so many years, but I'm looking at it from the time. It's like, it's a fast-paced thriller kind of thing. He made a big splash on the scene, Humphrey Bogart, and you know, it's pretty like, again, they speed through it, but like I almost kind of feel like maybe was its appeal back then is it's such a like this, now it turned to this, now it turned on this, now it turned on this, now it turned on this. And maybe it's not executed the way we would like now, but I could see that like at the time coming out and being like, oh, damn, I went and saw this movie and got thrown for a loop of quite a few times.
Maybe I'm not giving credit. You're right, because even like his partner being murdered in the beginning.
Yeah, I was like, that was a left turn.
I was
like,
all right. But you know, like I've seen so many fucking twists and things like that.
Yeah.
But this could have been the first time that's been done, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm turning this on like, oh, you got the two leads right here, and one of them is dead in 5 minutes.
Yep.
You know, sorry, spoiler, but
well, I'm assuming you watched the movie.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, that's why you're watching this. But yeah, but that was and it's unclear who did it, and it's what you know. I don't know. Given you know, movies were not necessarily, they weren't all classics back then, and I'm sure there was a lot of crap too when it came to like, you know, oh, going to see this kind of disposable kind of cereal or this whatever, and having this come out and it's kind of a, you know, fast-paced detective movie with a lot of twists and turns. I could see this, you know, captivating people when it came out.
Yeah. But to be so considered one of the greatest films of all time, it's like, is it though?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
there's some movies that it's been said long enough that it's just become true.
That's just a thing, and you can't.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, that Maltese Falcon, that had a great, you know. I'm trying to think of other movies that we just say that about now. You know, there's a lot of them that, oh yeah, it's a classic, and then you go back and watch it, and it's like, yeah, it fucking was.
And that's Citizen Kane to me.
Yeah, but I'm really trying to think of. I know there's others too, and I'm curious, people at home watching, leave a comment. I want to know what yours are. There's somewhere that we say it's been classic for so long that you watch it and you're like, we've done better than this. But I'm trying to think of another example.
The Godfather.
Off the top of my head. No, they nailed that.
I was bored.
They got it perfect the first time. Slam dunk. Yeah, I know there's some others that we've watched, but I can't off the top of my head.
You know
what's a classic that doesn't hold up? Let us know.
Superman, the first one.
Kind of. The budget, you could tell it's like they had a huge budget, but you watch it now and it's like,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not like a movie.
No.
I never liked it.
And again, that's a really good example because that was another one. It made a splash because when it came out, it's like the most expensive movie ever made, and it's a comic book guy. What? So that was a baller move at the time, you know. But yeah, I don't think that shit holds up at all.
No.
Oh my god. And you know what? I'll go a more recent example. Ooh, this one we're gonna see the patron level.
Oh, no. Come on. I hate when it does that.
Boo. Like Spider-Man 2 was like, this might be the best superhero movie ever. Man, you watch that now, it's like, I think that shit aged
It's
like
not good. I haven't
milk
seen it.
on the sun.
But
Not everyone agrees with me. That's not. I would not by any means say that's a unanimous one. But I just feel like there's some great stuff in it, but it has that still the early 2000s on it. You know, some movies from the early 2000s have that. Even Gladiator, widely loved movie, has that kind of residue on it. Like that early 2000s, whatever.
You know,
but
every decade has that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
And you just look at the people. You look at Alan Rickman and Kevin Costner and their hair. It's like the 90s.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. Like,
yeah.
It's just like it just has that aura on it, and you can't. Like, the early 2000s has it too.
You can't shake it. But there's sometimes that enhances, and sometimes that. You know, there's sometimes it works against it. It doesn't always. There's sometimes where it's like, oh, this is reflective of the era, and that's cool. You know, I was watching the original Planet of the Apes not that long ago, and you know, Charlton Heston. There's like a young ape that's like, I don't understand what the older apes are saying. I don't get the older generation at all. and Charlton Heston's like, that's it. There you go. Don't trust anyone over 30. All right, and he walks away, and that's such a like Vietnam era, like, you know, the older generation is fucking lost, man. You know, and you get a little taste of that era, and it's kind of fun. It kind of adds to it. It's like, that's when this came out. Okay, you know, whatever. I wouldn't mark that as bad. In the second Planet of the Apes movie, then there's apes going around with protest signs. Oh. And that is like, ooh, little on the nose now. Maybe, kind of taints it. So I'm not trying to be super hard on like Spider-Man 2 or Gladiator. They have a little of that tinge on it, but maybe you'll like it because of it, not in spite of it.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is maybe we're too close to it, but I can't see it on the 2010s yet. And I know that it's not too far away from where we are right now.
Yeah, I'm like, Inception, that's still a cool movie, you know. But I'm curious. Yeah, give it like, a few more years.
Yeah, what will you look and go? Oh, Jesus, definitely that time.
Yeah.
But right now, to me, it's just a movie. But
yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
Still too close.
I'm sure that will change our opinion on it.
Yeah. But in terms of a movie, there are, you know, again, I pointed those out from the early 2000s. I'm actually talking about, what is a movie that is like, I'm fucking not enjoying this at all. I'll still watch the second Spider-Man. I'll still watch Gladiator. But that Superman, I think, is kind of rough to get through.
Shitty.
Some iconic highlights. Christopher Reeves, love him.
I remember Lois smoking really bothering me when I was a kid. I'm like, oh my God, Lois Lane smokes, and that really upset me. I don't think I'd care as much anymore.
And I'm sorry, when he's flying around, I love this turned into a Superman.
I know. What are we doing?
When they're flying around and she just does spoken word fucking poetry. Can you read my mind,
dude?
Flying to and
fuck that.
Do you know why that's in there?
No.
She had a deal to sing the official song of the movie, like over the credits or something like that. And then they were like, hey, that's going to be like shitty. Like, we're not going to do it. And she's like, I'm supposed to get like residual songwriting, whatever. There was some deal made with her. And then it was like, well, what if she just kind of says it like it's like poetry in her mind? Okay. And then they put that in and it's like, it's awful.
Hey, you know what? Put it at the end of the credits. I don't give a fuck. Why did you ruin your movie with that shit? That's stupid. That if you want to have it after the movie and it's just the credits and she wants to sing a song and be shit, who cares? Yeah. We leave then anyways.
Yeah. So I'm curious what people at home feel about the original Superman, but I think that's a good example. I think that would not be a classic now. Again, you watch Citizen Kane, I feel like, it's all there and it's still good. But you may feel different, and I'm curious what you have to say about that. Yeah. But for the Maltese Falcon, Yeah, this isn't, I think, gonna like rivet the room playing it now. I mean, we didn't really go through the plot beat
And
by
that's
beat.
the thing.
But,
And I was looking at like, do we want to? But I really don't want to.
I mean, essentially, to boil it down, guy's a detective, got his partner there. Woman comes into the office. Hey, how does it set it up? The guy, there's a guy.
Thursby.
Yeah,
Is it Thursby?
Thursby, I think.
I think so.
You know, who is what's the deal?
He's with my sister. I'm
Yeah,
scared. I'm scared
I don't know
for
what's
her.
going on. Yeah. So can you kind of like follow him around?
Right.
Immediately the partner gets killed. But then you find out like she kind of fibbed that story.
And then Thursby's killed.
Yeah.
I don't even see Thursby.
Yeah, no, you don't see. I don't think you do.
No.
But he was killed too. And you find out she fibbed the story.
This other dude shows up, says he's looking for something, and it turns into this whole like like they're obviously looking for the Maltese Falcon. You don't realize they're looking for it.
It's a whole game of getting this rare artifact.
Then there's a guy that what do they call him? They call him the Fat Man, which seems terribly rude, but that's what I'm looking at in the thing.
Hey, again, just watch the second Planet of the Apes, and in the credits, like they're one of the dudes. They meet the mutant people, and one of them is a bigger guy, and he's in there as Fat Man. And I'll take it a step further. There's a African American character in that movie who is credited as. I didn't write this credit.
What did you write?
I didn't write it.
What did you write?
But in the credits, he is credited as Negro.
Oh my God, are you serious?
That's in the credits. Fat Man, and then him.
Wow.
So I was like, damn, these credits are.
Dude, it is wild.
Yeah.
Things.
I think that was 1970. Was that movie?
That wasn't that long ago, and here we are. That's
Yeah.
fucking wild.
Yeah.
I think that guy's name was Gutman.
Oh, yeah, something like that. Gut Man, really?
Man.
That's what you call the
And,
bigger character?
They wanted him to look like he was like impossibly big.
Oh. Again, inspiration, Jabba the Hutt. You have the powerful guy who isn't moving from his slab, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
To me, yeah, we could keep going through the plot, but like, I thought it was interesting that the whole thing is them getting the Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
They end up. I thought actually it was clever. There's some things I liked. I mean, I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah.
But there's things, like, oh, he gets the Maltese Falcon, he takes it to a hotel. I'm like, that's weird. And then gets mails off the tab to get it back. So you can only get it if you have like the P.O. Box key, which he has.
Oh,
and we have
yeah,
to know
yeah.
where the P.O. Box is. I'm like, that's pretty smart. Like,
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
it
yeah.
instantly. I did like how it always seems like Humphrey Bogart or Sam Spade was one step ahead of
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
which is always fun to watch.
Yeah.
So there are parts of it that I did like, and then at the end they get the Falcon, they try to scrape off the black painting, and it is a fake. It's not the Maltese Falcon, and then they go off looking for it. Sam Spade decides I'm not going to look for it anymore, and he sells out the girl, and those two leave. The end. Like there's no resolution really of what happened, which I think also surprised me that it's such a legendary thing, and there's no like conclusion. They just went to go
it's
find
kind
that
of
bird.
like, well, yeah.
We
them's
never
the
found the
breaks.
Maltese Falcon.
Well, you're gonna, and then what are you gonna do? You could, be with me. You're gonna, turn me in. It's like, well, I mean, what happened to my partner? That's
Shame on
a
you.
mark against justice. I can't go against justice, can I? And you're thinking maybe he will, maybe he won't. And then he's like, no, she did it.
Get her out of here.
Get her out of there. And then he drops. Hey, to be fair, drops that fucking last line like a boss. What's that you're fucking holding over there, Sam? The stuff that dreams are made of. Classic. Yeah.
That was
classic.
me being the credits.
No.
I did like the line like, if they don't execute you, maybe we'll get married in 20 years. And it's like, whoa. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So that's what I mean, though. There's pizzazz there. There's spice behind his words. He kills it as a classic detective. Maybe they hadn't seen anyone with quite. He is like, for us, we've been seeing this version of a detective for so long. But that started here.
Right.
So that, you know what I mean? Like that's why I see why it's famous. I do.
Yeah. But I do think if I watched it more times, I would pick up on things and like it more.
I think so too.
I'm not going to instantly love it like I did Citizen Kane,
Yeah.
but I do think that like this is a movie that maybe needs so many names they're throwing out there.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Usual Suspects?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that movie, But there are so many times they're talking about so many different names. Like I don't know who you're fucking talking about right now. Like give me a second.
That was another one I felt like I saw too late.
Oh really?
Not that it was that's terrible or anything. But I was like, think I would have been more inspired by this.
Yeah, when I
if
saw it in high school, I was fucking blown away.
That was the perfect time.
Yeah,
I should have, I feel that way about a movie every now and then. It's like, oh, I saw that a little late, but I could see why it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this. I actually did. But it didn't hold me. It didn't inspire me in that way. The, like again, Citizen Kane or whatever.
Yeah, there was a point I had to pause a movie to I think pick up a kid or something.
Yeah.
And then I went back to watch it, and I was like, oh. All right. It kind of felt like homework a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not like. Sometimes I pause a movie and like I can't wait to get the fuck back to this movie. Whatever. And this was not that. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I didn't quite have that with this. I thought it was brisk enough that I was kind of like, okay. I never dipped into any kind of like, oh man, I thought it was paced well enough. Just it was more of a I got respect for it as an inspiration to what came after more than just like this movie is riveting as fuck. Like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, and that's it. It was fine, but it was told that was one of the greatest movies ever made, and so that's where they did the movie dirty.
Yeah, I still do want to see Casablanca. I like Bogart. I think he for this type of movie, and he's the blueprint for this kind of thing. So. I want to see more. I want to see Casablanca.
You know what's funny is I didn't find him to be handsome. He's kind of just a guy. And
yeah, I don't know. I think for this era, I don't know. I might disagree.
Yeah, I thought the guy who was Wilmer. You don't even want to talk about him, but like the guy who was like. He was like a better looking. I mean, everyone else honestly is better looking than Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about him in terms of good looking. I just thought he was cool. He's cool. I might take care of that. And I think cool.
But
goes
like
a long
when
way.
I see like, oh, that's our leading man, I wouldn't have picked him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Humphrey, I wouldn't have casted you.
Yeah.
You want to do shakers on this?
Sure.
Okay. You want to go first since you
yeah.
picked it?
I'm gonna give it. I still had a fun time watching this. I'm not gonna say it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad I did for the history's sake, for all that. So I'm a solid 3. I'm going to give it a 3.
You know what, Rocco? I'm going to go along with you and give it 3 shakers as well. And I think, as I said many times, if I watch it again, it might go up to 3.5.
I think so,
watch it again, maybe go up to a 4. Maybe give it to 5 even. I don't fucking know. But like as of the first time viewing, it's a 3.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was made because it spawned so many things that I ended up loving. I think the style is really cool. Even this picture on the screen right now, that looks fucking cool.
Yeah, and you needed this to get to where we got.
Like, if this movie isn't made, do we have Hitchcock making like Psycho and stuff? I know he was making shit way before this too, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, this director, I didn't know he continued into the late 80s.
Dang.
Was still directing stuff.
What was his last movie? Or his biggest movie? Do you know?
Other than this, I mean, he did Annie, the musical.
Oh, I just watched that actually.
Yeah, that was his movie. I didn't know that. But yeah, he did that. He did all kinds of stuff. There's a million things listed here, but his last movie was The Dead, 1987.
My favorite movie.
But he did Annie, Under the Volcano. I mean, this is a gigantic list.
And this was his first one.
This
it is, right?
Yeah, Maltese Falcon.
What a start!
Out the gate.
What a fucking start, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's time. We did a classic.
Yeah.
I think we still have to do another classic.
Yeah.
I just
keeping the theme.
I'm loving this old traditional movie making.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna watch the classic 2005 film.
Yeah.
Windy City Heat.
Yes. This was a TV movie.
A TV
which is the way movies should be seen.
Which is maybe our first TV movie we've done.
I did do Ghosts by Michael Jackson.
That's true.
Which is pretty iconic TV movie. Didn't play in theaters.
So this movie I saw back in 2005, and I think it's on YouTube or Amazon. Please watch this movie, and we will see you next time.
We'll see you soon. This is a special. We're doing a special.
Special one.
Back to back.
We were so late doing this one, so we're gonna doing
a bonus treat.
So honestly, this one's probably already out. So check out Windy City Heat in the meantime, and we'll see you guys.
We'll see you later. Now I wonder what I got here.
Can I see that real quick?
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, oh my
Holy
God.
fucking shit.
Oh. Okay.